Welcome again to Her God, a program by women, for women, and about women's issues. Today, as you can see, we are going to be talking to the religious of the Daughters of Charity. And I'd first of all like to begin this session with what is religious life and why is the church promoting a work of religious life within the church? So we have Article 925, which says, religious life derives from the mystery of the church. 926. It is a gift she has received from her Lord, a gift she offers as a stable way of life to the faithful called by God to profess the counsels. Thus the church can both show forth Christ and acknowledge herself to be the Savior's bride. Religious life in its various forms is called to signify the very charity of God in the language of our time. And from that very last sentence, I thought we must have the Daughters of Charity on our show because they are showing such courage to show that charity of God in our time. And I'm calling this section of this program, Courage to Love. And with me, I have to share today's Sister Jaya Mary and Sister Anne, both of whom are working in Kerala with various forms of the poor and needy. And so first of all, Sister Jaya, and I've known you for 12 years, for many years, I would like to just, I met Sister Jaya actually in the AIDS Center across the street where she was helping to care for our many HIV positive and AIDS patients. But first of all, I'd just like to talk about the foundation of your order. So St. Vincent de Paul, long ago in France, began this order.
In 1663, he founded the congregation, but it was a miracle way it realized in the congregation. St. Vincent was preaching and doing the charitable work, and that time he met Louise de Marillac, who was a noble lady who married and had a child. She was wanting to become an Augustinian nun, and she dedicated her life for that. But in the life she could not, because
when she was a child, she wanted to be...
Yeah, when she was a child.
Oh, okay.
Then after that, her father died. Her mother was died in Macheli. Then maternal uncle had taken control of her, and then he forced her to get married with a nobleman of secretary to the queen. And then she, even in the married life, she was very good and loving her husband, as well as God has given her a child, Michel, and she loved him also. By the time she had some doubt, her husband fallen ill, and then she thought that God's will was not the other and not this. It went, but in the light of Pentecost, she had a revelation that there will be time will come and she will be in the religious order.
So her whole life, she really wanted to be a religious.
Okay. And then after that, she met St. Vincent de Paul.
Was she still married when she met St. Vincent de Paul? Or?
Yeah, already she was a widow.
Her
husband died.
Okay.
The Holy Spirit has given her the inspiration, and that she should remain with her husband, and she has to take care of him. And there will be time will come, and she will be placed in a in such a. And also she had a vision of St. Vincent, and then she was not liking, because he was not that handsome. Then she remained with her husband, and after his death, St. Vincent met her, and he was also understood that she is also a woman of social work. And they both together joined and started the work.
So, but what was he doing? Maybe you can just tell our audience, what St. Vincent de Paul, what work was he doing?
He was St. Vincent was the author of all the charitable work in the world. And by that time, some of the village girls came to ask St. Vincent that I also will come with you to serve the poor. So he thought of, it is better to bring this girl to this woman, Louise de Marillac, and she can help her to bring up in this line. And this is the way she joined. Then another 12 girls joined with her, and there started a little formation, and it came. And Saint Vincent, in his own word, once he told, "Neither me nor Mademoiselle Legras thought of you, but God thought of you." Because they never thought of starting a congregation. They wanted to. And we are not called as religious, but we are women consecrated for the service of the poor. In the Catholic Church, we are put not in that place of religious, but not secular, in between. So that is what our identity.
I never knew that.
Yeah. Then in those days, why Saint Francis de Sales had a plan of bringing our own congregation who take care of the poor and visiting the poor. But he utterly failed, because those days it was very adamant that sisters with the vows should be inside the cloister.
That was an important issue. So they are supposed to stay in the convent and not go outside.
Yeah.
So I think I read somewhere that the Daughters of Charity began by living in apartments out with the poor. So maybe you can tell us that.
So then St. Vincent told the Daughters of Charity, if any bishop ask you, are you a religious? You must tell, by the grace of God, we are not religious, but women consecrated for the service of the poor. And that is the original of our congregation. And it came and flourished. Many people came, many girls joined, and we were like girls who are going to serve the poor. So that is the way they began our congregation.
That's very interesting. How they had to say something so that the bishop wouldn't try to keep the sisters in the cloister.
So we were freely started work, and then we have 1 year of our vows. We can make our vows for only 1 year, and it continued till today. In the Second Vatican Council, the congregation asked the Pope that we can have the perpetual vows. Then he told that, the Vatican told that, keep your identity. Since 400 years you are going in this way, and then let it continue. And we are very happy of it. All the sisters are also, I think we do not have any crisis on account of this temporary vows.
So every year you make your vows?
March 25th we renew our vows.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's lovely. I never knew that either.
The March 24th our vows is expired. And then again we give new. In another way, I just say in my own way, if you are okay with us, I am okay with us, let us continue. If not, we shall discontinue. We will say fine.
So it's an ongoing discernment. Ongoing discernment.
Every year we are renewing, and
that's very unusual in a congregation.
This is, I think, only the congregation in the church doing this. This is the way.
So how was Saint Vincent de Paul was actually kind of revolutionary in his time, and he in the way that he took care of the poor, and in the way that the sisters helped to care for the poor. It was like at that time in France, no one was doing this kind of work, right?
France was that time the revolution time. There were so much poverty in France, and many children were thrown out, and many miseries were there. And that is the time St. Vincent courageously took these children from the street and dustbin, and he did not know where to give. So he brought and gave to the Louise de Marillac. So she cannot do alone herself, so these girls helped them. And plus they were carrying the soup water and bread to the poor who were in the street, and they were serving in that way.
So they made many sacrifices to go right out there into the very heart of the problem, and to show the love of God in that place where no one else would go. And so I'm just going to turn now to Sister Anne, because I discovered her through another sister. Sister Mary told me about you, and you're doing some really exceptional work out in the villages with the women. So how are you showing this love of God where you are planted, Sister?
So I was doing with women in the villages. I collected almost we have 200 women's, and these 200 women's we are separated in different group. Each groups 20 women's are there. So every week they come together different houses, and they have a little bit collection and keep the money, and all together they will get one amount of money. That day itself they will ask among them who is in need of money. Need means somebody is sick or something want to start on. So we will this ladies will give the money to that ladies, and they will start to do some work or something. So like that we have 10 groups are there. So we the sisters, myself, and will go each group, Monday one group, Tuesday one group, like these groups.
So you have one parish, and then you each day go and visit one of the groups. And what do you talk about with them? Do you give them class, or what?
Yes, I give them class. Because nowadays in India, though we are so much grown up, but very difficult women to stand their own leg, especially the drunkenness of the husbands, and so many problems they have. So I take class for them how to stand and how to be kind and how to take care of your children. All this about I used to tell them.
Okay, and they are collecting the money for. They build up a little bank. Is that what they're doing?
Yeah, they have saving system.
Okay.
So they have saving system, and with that, like this rolling fund is going on. Each ones they have their passbook, and we enter the money what they have given to the group. So we'll enter and we'll give, and after the meeting finish, almost 5,000, 10,000 like that money will be there. So we will ask them. Who will be the need of money now? So we give them, and within 3 months they have to pay back with interest.
So what kinds of people are benefiting, and what kinds of help are you giving?
The people are usually the poor women in the villages.
Like what do they need? I guess what are the things they need?
They need, if suppose with that money they buy a cow or a goat, they can do the work, means with that they can earn their daily wood. So with that, suppose they buy a cow and they have milk selling to the milma, and when they get, then that money they can, here also they can pay, but they can roll it their daily without the help of husbands. They can be, ladies can stand their own legs. That is the
okay. So what kinds of like problems in the families are you finding that the ladies need help with? You have many stories, sister, so you can maybe just tell us some stories.
Yes, I can. Mainly, I have seen drunkenness of the husbands. And one day I was visiting one family. I saw a husband fully drunk and came to the house and started to beating the wife. So this lady was got out from the house, and she was running. And back of her also this fellow was running, and lastly anyway she because he was fully drunk, so she is not that, so she had, so one way or another way she did not get the beating, but every day this was going on. So not only beating to the wife but to the children, just he will take the child and will throw it like that way. So every day we were going and telling him. Lastly,
you go with the sisters, or
I go with the sisters. With our sisters we are going. Lastly, we found out a place and we took him to there and gave the treatment. But he was little okay. Then the spiritual side we took for the retreat and explained to the father all about his stories every day.
The priest?
Yeah, to the priest.
Okay.
So he did 1 week retreat, and I can say proudly that now he is fully all right. All right, and he is going for a job, bringing the money and giving to the wife and doing. Like that, so many families. And some families, it is not drinking, but they have doubt. Wife somewhere going out means he is feeling she will be with somebody, or she is speaking with some. All kinds of problems are, not only drunkenness and this doubtfulness, all these things. So we visited, visit the families, and mostly I think except Sunday, other every day we go for visit and make them understand. They are not coming to the church means we will tell them about the love of God and all these things and bring. And the Hindus, we say you practice your religion, but all religions teach we have to be love each other like that. All these things, and this. It is called this. I told 200 women, and we had put them separate groups, and each groups 20 women are there. So every Monday, each Monday, Tuesday, like this each group, and every month, second Monday, they come to the parish hall, and our parish priest is a Vincentian, and he also will come, and they will read out the money what they spend. So it will be clear for the women. Otherwise, they will think what there is a president, secretary, all these things. So the sisters and father will be there. So they will read out, and then they come all together. There will be more amount. So with that, they can start a small shop. All these things. And also
for the women, by the women, and
yeah.
so then they can also hear what their money is being used for, so they don't feel like they're just giving and nothing is happening.
And more than that, this each groups we keep working, we can bring up our relationship. Is anybody has any anger towards the neighbor or the other religion also, we can bring them together, and so that's why we keep all together in the parish hall. So the Hindus, and there are Hindus and Muslims, all are there. All the women.
It's all the sisters, all the women.
Yeah, all the women.
In the whole village.
Yeah, all the village.
That's beautiful, sister.
Yeah.
I can't tell you, I'm so impressed. Yeah. I'm so impressed because so many times when we see a problem in a family, the neighbor's reaction is to keep away from the family or to hide the family. I think you have another story about one woman who you noticed is not coming to the meeting. Remember that story you told me? One woman was not coming to the meeting, so you decided to go out to her house.
Yeah.
You want to tell that story?
So this meeting was going on, and I found out one lady is not at all coming. Then I asked what happened. Then only I came to know she was, whenever she go out or anything, husband comes and beating her. The way he beating her is, when she was explaining to me, I cried there even, and the way he was beat whole her body. But this woman, she never told to anyone, because she don't want to make known others that I am suffering like that. So I went to her house and I spoke with her, and then lastly I told, can I speak with your husband? Will you please allow? Then she told, no sister, if you ask, I will get more. I told, no, don't worry, we will pray. And slowly I started to love him. I told, what are you doing? All these things. And then I told him, see, I called his name and I told, see, I heard from here. And, no sister, no, nothing. That they are telling simply. Then I told, okay. Then one day I prayed and I went slowly. When I reached, this beating was going. Then I told, see, I saw. Now you can't say, I did not see. So I spoke with him. Then I told my parish priest, I told Vincent, and he also called and gave the counseling and told all these things. Now he also changed. And almost in that parish, 20 families we helped to overcome for this.
With the same problem, the violence and the drinking and the 20 families.
20
so
families.
Sister, that's better than the secular world. The secular world's helping families is not as successful as the method that you're using with the priest and the sisters and the constant attention. Like, I think it's a good message for all of us that when there's a problem, through prayer and constant attention, that love is making a difference, that attention.
I had told you about one incident in the bus, what happened.
That time,
Yeah. 2012, November 15th, I was traveling from our village I was going from my house for my father's death anniversary. And almost bus was reaching to the concerned place. So many men entered the bus and started beating the conductor and the driver. And it was horrible things. And so many ladies were and children were there. Then this, because he took the knife and going to cut the neck of a conductor. And not even a single people were stood there to catch or anything. Then the children and the ladies were crying and crying. Please don't. Then one lady told, please don't do, telling that she did like this. Then took one big stone and beat it over her.
They beat her with the,
Yeah.
oh my.
Then by the grace of God, I got up and I caught the this knife. I told, please, 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 don't do. But anyway, they respected me, and almost 1.5 hours I had fight in that bus. And by the help of God, I helped saved the life of conductor, driver, and all the people inside. So lastly, the police came, and even the police asked me, from where you got this courage, sister? I told, God gave the courage. For me, when I see like these things, I want to do something. Otherwise, like that. So, not even a single people got up. All men and women, everybody else. And they closed the bus.
And they shut the bus door so no one could escape.
Yeah. Then lastly, they told, okay, you take the bus. When they took the bus, they took big stone and threw over the bus, and all the glasses broken. Again they told, take the bus. Then all the glasses were falling down now, and over some children and some wound and all they got. But anyway.
But some amazing courage through the Holy Spirit,
Yeah.
that
It
this
is
sister is able to go out and this is what I see in the religious sisters, this courage to go out into places where most people are afraid, and just to have that, as the Catholic Catechism is saying, showing the charity, the love of God in our time where we are.
That I want to say this, all the religious, means to the message I want to give, if we work together for that, nowadays it is more important to work for the women and children. So we'll each, wherever we are, we will do something for them, because though we are so much developing, but still there are women suffering in different parishes and different villages, and means there is nobody, no one is there to listen to them. I want to give lastly the message, wherever the religious sisters are there, try for their development and bring them.
Take care of them. I think that's a very important point that Sister's bringing up, and that is, as we grow in our technology, in our modern economic growth, and every country wants to increase its strength and power, its technology. Young people want to get jobs in various other countries, and who's being left behind but the women and the children, and the attention, as you can hear from her stories, the attention is just as crucially needed as it was in the time of St. Vincent de Paul, where the poor are being left aside as everyone else goes after the worldly things. And where is God? He's with the poor. And where is the cry of the poor? It's with the women and the children today. So, and actually the husbands too, who need that intervention of people's love and the church to get involved in the families where these crises are happening. It's like an open wound that's festering and soaring, and that it needs the doctor of the love to come in and start acting. So you can kind of see an example I think I'm seeing is that Sister goes into the violence and herself courageously confronts it. And through that befriends the people that are doing the violence and makes friends out of enemies, really. So it's a great work that's being done quietly in the little villages in Kerala, and I'm sure in many neighborhoods throughout India, that we need to support. I think we need to support, and we need to acknowledge the great gift the religious sisters are to our church, and governments need to acknowledge that what a great work they're doing to help the poor that no one can reach. and take care of. So we thank you for joining us today on Her God, and hope that you'll join us again next week when we discuss another important issue for women. And I thank the sisters for coming, and we hope to follow up and have another program with the Daughters of Charity to continue this conversation about courage to love. Thank you so much.